Hello. Is it working? I hope so. Oh, right. That's not it. There we go. Obviously, I'm an idiot, and I don't know how to do this yet. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name's John. Just hanging out. We're going to be talking about some cryptocurrency today. Why I bought Ether, why I didn't buy Bitcoin, etc., etc. Obviously, it goes without saying, and we should have a nice little disclaimer that I am not an expert. I actually just got into Bitcoin recently, so this is very much me just sharing my thoughts, not speaking as an authority, but just as someone who wants to contribute some thoughts and have a little bit of fun while doing so. So yeah, be sure to hit the like and subscribe so we can grow the channel, because obviously it'll be fun to do, right? Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. I made $1,500 in 5 days. I don't know about you, but that's like a lot, okay? It's a lot. That's like $300 a day. That's crazy. Yeah, it was nuts. And really the whole thing that led up to me, having this was honestly Gary Vee. He really got into NFTs, and I listened to him talk about it, and I was like, hey, NFTs sound cool. I want to make NFTs, and I want to buy some too. Well, how do I buy them? Ethereum. Okay, so I get Ethereum. And so I literally spent like days trying to figure out how to buy cryptocurrency. Like, as a complete beginner who had no idea what exchanges were and what MetaMask was and all of that cool stuff. It took me like days to figure out like how to buy this stuff. Specifically because they don't take credit cards. It's like MasterCard and Visa. They don't let you buy crypto, which I think is stupid. By the way, a Visa that does let you is Coho. It's a prepaid Visa, obviously, but yeah, definitely look into that. Coho, pretty cool app. I just got it. I'll be talking about that later, doing a review or something. But anyways, yeah, I eventually found an exchange that allowed me to do Interact e-transfer, and then I was like, okay, now I can buy it finally. Yeah, so I bought a bunch of Ether, and please, a huge disclaimer, please don't buy anything with money you can't afford to lose. Okay, I'm not here trying to like motivate you to spend your life savings. No, I only spent what I could afford to lose. I knew that much. I knew the market was very volatile and that I could lose money. So I did not go in over my head, only spent what I could afford to lose. And that comes into play a little bit later on. Yeah, so VFriends dropped, and I was like super stoked about that. And I thought the prices were like really, really high, like starting at 3 Ether. I stayed up all night on launch, waiting for it to get down to where I could actually afford it. And once it got down there, I could have waited longer, to be honest. But I didn't want to miss out because I really really wanted to go to VCon, and I will be there. So if you're going to VCon, drop a like and subscribe, and we can be friends and then meet up when we're there, etc., etc. Yeah, I got one. I couldn't believe it. It was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I'm so happy. Yeah, and the whole time that I was waiting for VFriends to drop, Ethereum went up. It hit its record during that time. And so I was like, heck yeah, I got a 3-year passive econ, and I made money on my money. And I think the really big moral of the story is don't sit around in fear waiting for things to be perfect. Like, none of this was perfect, and very easily could have lost money on the thing. And I think a lot of it is just based on, you know, if I hadn't stepped out in faith and believed in my own abilities and was confident in my abilities to manage the risk and take care of myself by stepping into this new world of crypto, I might not have gotten all the benefits, and I might not be going to VCon, which is something I'm super excited and happy about. So the moral of the story is don't sit around in fear, waiting for things to be perfect. They will never, ever be perfect. As someone who has been trying really, really hard lately to break into the YouTube space and all that good stuff, you know, you can't wait around. Please don't sit around, wait for things to be perfect. You have to start messy and then just get better as you go along. Like, look at what I'm doing now. It's not like these are the most high quality videos. I'm learning right now. I'm practicing how to keep on talking and being engaging and all of that cool stuff. Like, this is very much educational for me as much as putting in work. So please, when you realize, I'm going to quote Gary Vee here, when you realize no one cares about your failures, like, the fear just goes away. I know if this video is bad, no one's going to care. Who cares? But I'm going to learn a lot from it. And so please don't sit around waiting for things to be perfect. They're never going to be perfect. Get off your butt, get to work, learn how to manage risk, and then take those risks wisely. And yeah, see what happens. Maybe you'll fail, but then you'll learn, and then you'll just move on. It's great. And so, yeah, just don't wait around in fear. So yeah, anyways, yeah, I made $1,500 in 5 days, and then I lost $1,500 in 3 days. Yeah, that was the thing. Is as soon as I bought my VFriend, and I was all excited. I'm going to VCon. I was like, hey, I made some money. I still have extra Ethereum left over, and then the market plummeted, and it was like, oh wow, frick, dang it. And so no, I didn't sell off my Ethereum. I'm just holding it. I think that in the long term, the applications for Ethereum are great. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, and of course, again, disclaimer, please. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not an expert. Always consult experts before making buying decisions, okay? And please take reasonable risk. Don't throw your life savings away. That's dumb. Manage the risk. You need manageable risk, okay? And you know, honestly, like, bad things do happen, and failure is very, very real. I mean, like, I benefited a lot from buying Ethereum when I did, and I got what I was after. I got the NFT token that I wanted. But at the same time, it very easily could have been the opposite. They could have all sold immediately, and I wouldn't have been able to afford one. And then Ethereum could have dropped, and I would have lost money. Like, it could have very easily gone badly. And I think part of the reason why I wasn't anxious or having a lot of anxiety or worried about it is because I managed the risk. Yeah, I just don't spend money on things I can't afford to buy. And I did not invest anything that I could not afford to lose. And so when the market started going down, I was just like, I'm holding for the long term anyways. Big whoop. I'll probably buy more. If I get any money, I will buy more, actually, because, you know, I think the probability of Ether going up is pretty high, considering all of the long-term applications that it has, despite the regulations that are forthcoming. Yeah, I think it's just really, really important that you don't sit around and be idle and wait for things to be perfect, because they won't be. And so, like, you got to be brave, you got to be courageous, you got to be bold. Like, I got into the cryptocurrency space, and yeah, it was risky. But I'm super, super glad that I did it, and it's one of the highlights of my year so far. Taking that leap of faith and just going for it and being like, yo, I got this. I can manage it. And, that just comes from confidence and knowing your limitations and setting your own boundaries and then pushing them just a little bit. Push your boundaries just a little bit. But just make sure that you can manage the risk, okay? When the market crashed, I was like, eesh, well, there goes all my profits. I'll never forget that. It's like, you make $1,000 in 5 days, but you lose it in 3. It's kind of like, that's fun. And I think the reason that I wasn't super emotional about losing it is because I wasn't super emotional about getting it. I was just like super, super chill, right? I think when I researched like stock trading and stuff, you got to be emotionless. Otherwise, you're going to make an impulsive mistake. And so for me, I'm not going to sell my Ethereum just because the market went down. I'm holding for the long term because, one, I actually have things I can buy with Ethereum, like NFTs. I plan to make my own NFTs and distribute them when I start making music. So I need the Ethereum anyways. So I'm not just going to sell it because I'm not here to play the market. I mean, some people do. That's fine. But please, you have to be like super, super knowledgeable and talented to do that. So once again, please do a buttload of research before trying to play the market. Just for your own safety. I don't want anybody to watch this video and be like, oh, he got into the crypto space and then throw all their life savings away. And it's like, bro, no. We're talking about managing risk. Taking risks that are reasonable. And so worst case scenario, you're fine. You know what I mean? Or at least you can manage it. I think that's how I would go about that. Then honestly, that's why I save money. I save money so that I can invest in crypto when I want to. I save money so that I can do cool stuff like this and break into new spaces early on. I mean, I'm not an early crypto, but I think crypto is still way early in the game. I think I'm pretty early. But yeah, that's what I really want to impart to you guys. Manage your risk. Take manageable risks, reasonable risks, not crazy, stupid risks that are going to end up getting you poor. But yeah, let's talk about Bitcoin and why I don't want to buy it. As a newbie in the space, I just don't feel like Bitcoin is for me. It's ridiculously expensive, and once again, disclaimer: I'm not an expert. Always consult the experts. Blah blah blah. There's a limited amount of coins, and honestly, there's no use for it for me. Because understand, I am not interested in playing the market, like buying low and selling high, because I don't trust my skills enough to put my money on the line for that. I'm more interested in holding things for the long term. And long term, right now, I just don't understand what I would do with Bitcoin. Like, what can I buy with it? Because Tesla just dropped it for environmental concerns, which I think is legit, but it's like, what can you buy with it? Like, I have no intention of buying a Tesla, and now I can't buy a Tesla with Bitcoin, so it's like, why would I have it? Like, as utility, not playing the market and profiting from it growing up, but as utility, like using it as a tool. It's like, what would I use this for? I can't think of anything. I tried to look and it's like, there's nothing I want for it. And also there is the environmental factor. I think as literally everybody and almost everything becomes more and more environmentally conscious, if Bitcoin doesn't figure out how to be environmentally friendly like Ethereum is, apparently Ethereum's going to drop its power consumption by like 99%. It might end up being a second player, maybe. And again, I'm not an expert. But I just had this feeling, and you don't understand, I listen to Gary Vee a lot, so you probably, if you listen to Gary Vee, it's probably something similar to what I'm saying, but I just feel like Bitcoin might be MySpace, and Ethereum might be like the Facebook. I just feel like, for me personally, there's nothing really in Bitcoin for me. I mean, if I start seeing strong signs that it will rebound and it will go to like 100,000, sure, I'll grab $1,000 and put it in and profit at a couple $100, sure, or $1,000. I'm happy to do that. But I'm not like gonna invest my life savings in Bitcoin or anything, because I just don't see like what am I gonna do with it aside from withdraw it later in hopes of making a profit and then getting taxed on that. It's like, I'm just not interested in doing that. I'm much more interested in holding something like Ethereum for the long term, because I just know how dangerous it is to like play the market, especially when you don't know what you're doing, and I definitely don't know what I'm doing. But there's nothing for me to buy it with, and I just bought my first NFT with Ethereum. NFTs are something that I'm super excited about, and I want to start making. Here on this channel, I'm going to document all that and show you that. But there's nothing for me to get excited about with Bitcoin right now, and so I'm not buying it at the moment. Could it go back up and make a profit if you buy it? Sure. Consult the experts. I'm not the guy to tell you to do that. But yeah, that's why I'm not buying it right now. It's just I don't see any long-term utility for me personally. If you see it for you, then by all means consult an expert and buy it for yourself. Like, that's on you. Go for it. You know, by the way, if you're getting value, having fun with me talking about this stuff, hit the subscribe button. We're doing lots of live streams here, and I hope you guys will stick around and enjoy it. Once my internet gets better, the live streams are going to be like mint. But that leads us to the next question. Will Ethereum go up in value? And yeah, I mean, I personally think so. And again, once again, disclaimer, I'm not an expert. Always consult the experts before making financial decisions, blah, 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 blah. I think it'll go up in value mainly because it actually has utility that a commoner like myself is interested in. And I think as far as I can tell from what I'm reading and stuff, the technology is better. Yeah, and the energy reduction is going to be huge. So I think that once Bitcoin moves to proof of stake and the energy production goes way down and helps the environment, that's going to make it that's going to make it look good, for one thing. It's going to be good for the environment. And yeah, that means that they could spend a lot more time, money, and energy on like building up the platform. And I listen to a lot of Gary Vee, and I'm hearing stuff like people are building a lot of stuff. And so I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be a lot of utility. Like, I'm waiting to see like what apps are going to be built. I'm waiting for the next social media app that's going to be built on Ethereum. That's what I'm waiting for. As soon as I see that, I'm jumping on it. Be sure to go follow me there whenever it becomes a thing. But yeah, mainly it's just NFTs right now. It's like that's something that I personally am excited about. I want to make NFTs, build NFTs, and Ethereum apparently is the most popular thing that you can make NFTs with right now. I might consider going with Flow, but as a beginner, I don't want to spread myself too thin. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's just really a lot of utility for someone like me, and the future apps that can be built is just a lot. Like, I think 10 years from now, there might be a streaming service that's built on the blockchain, and it very well might be Ethereum. Websites, blogs, news articles, podcasting, music streaming, podcast hosts, a social media platform. I think all of those things will end up being built on Ethereum, and have Ethereum money exchanges and stuff. And so for me, holding Ethereum just makes a lot of sense, because I know I feel like it's going to have a lot of utility, especially if people do build apps on the Ether blockchain, apps that I want to use that take the money. I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, let me go play. So I'm kind of just like building up my Ether wallet so that I can go play with all the new apps and all the new functions that are going to come out 5-10 years from now. But you know, there is a thing called regulations, and that's the reason that the stock market, not the stock market, the crypto market, it crashed. There's rumors of regulations and taxes and all that cool stuff. And here's my bit on things like that. Regulations come and go. Like when social media started up, they had to make all new laws for it, because it was a brand new technology, a brand new thing. It had never been done before in the history of mankind. Of course, they're going to have to take the time to figure out what the laws are going to be, and certain people who could exploit the lack of regulations won't be able to exploit it anymore, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, yeah, I get that, but I think like social media, it's still going to be around. It'll just be different. It'll be more cohesive. and there will be ways to tax you. Big whoop. And I think that might actually be good for it because it might actually make it more stable. Well, not like taking away the decentralization. I wouldn't want to do that. I think that would be dumb. I would riot. Okay, no, I wouldn't riot. I don't want to say that. No, no violence. Not about violence here. But it's like, yeah, I would be mad if they tried to do that. And yeah, sure, that's a real threat. But I think same as social media, they'll find a balance where everyone can just sort of get what they want, and we can all go on using it for all the fun apps and stuff like that. And also, I'm hearing rumors that, you know, by reducing the gas prices will be way lower, which means it'll be way cheaper for me to make NFTs, which is great, and that might drive the price up. So, but yeah, it's tough to say. That's sort of like my thoughts on the price of Ethereum going up. I think long-term utility could have the price go up. Or at least for me, it's worth holding on to just for that. But at the end of the day, please don't be selfish or hasty. Like, be cautious. Do as much research as you need to, and yeah, don't run into it throwing your life savings at it, because that's not what I'm encouraging you guys to do. We're just talking. We're having fun, and just please don't be selfish or hasty. If you feel like you're gonna lose a lot of money, maybe sell out a little bit. Maybe it's like, or don't spend your life savings to begin with. You know, like, be cautious, manage your risk, like we talked about earlier. Manage your risk and just go from there. But you know, it leads us down a more interesting question: is will crypto go away? And you know, no, I don't think crypto is a scam, and I think mainly the market decides what has value and what doesn't. I mean, obviously we've seen that with Bitcoin and Dogecoin. It's like it's the market. In a free market that's decentralized, it's the people who want to buy the stuff that determines how much value it is, at least as far as I can tell. Again, I might be an idiot. Don't take my word for it. Go and consult the research, because obviously, disclaimer, I'm not an expert. Go consult the experts, blah, blah, blah. And right now, it just seems like most people are just trying to play the market and buy for like capital gains. And I personally am just not into doing that right now, just because I don't trust my own skill level yet to actually come out on top and make a profit, because of how volatile the market appears to be. And so, yeah. But mainly, I'm just really excited about all the things that can be built, like NFTs and all of the different apps that can happen. You know, like the blockchain version of Netflix and stuff. I think there's going to be social media apps, streaming services, websites, blogging platforms, all sorts of really cool, awesome stuff that I personally am very, very excited for. But I know people are like scared of like regulations and stuff. It's just like, regulations for new tech is normal, guys. Like, when the internet first came out, they had to make all sorts of new laws to regulate it, because nobody knew what the heck to do with it, and it took them time to figure it out. And I'm sure there were people back then in the early 2000s saying, oh, it's the end of the internet. It's like, no, the internet's just changed. And then when social media came around, I'm sure when they were making all sorts of new regulations and the YouTube ad apocalypse and all that cool stuff, it was like, yeah, I'm sure people were like, oh, it's the end of YouTube. Oh, it's the end of Facebook. It's like, no, it's not the end. It just changed. You just have to find new ways to monetize, new ways to use it. And I think that's just what's going to happen with blockchain and crypto technology in general. It's just going to change, and it'll look a bit different. It might be a bit more regulated, a bit more well balanced, but I think that might make it more useful and more open to a lot of people. I know a lot of people won't like that, because we always miss the good old days when it's free and you can just do whatever you want. But I think inevitably things always become regulated to some extent. And so I don't see the point in like spending all of my time being upset about that. Rather, I'm more interested, what can I do? What are the long-term utility effects that I can actually use to make this thing awesome, like NFTs. Super excited about NFTs. And I think it's only a matter of time before someone makes like a podcast hosting platform on the blockchain. And I will definitely be posting a podcast on that if that happens, because yeah, that would be awesome. So now I don't think it's going to go away. I just think it's going to look a lot different than it might look. It'll look different than it does now. But I do think there's potential for the prices to go up. I'm definitely interested in things like Cardano and some other ones that might become like the next Ethereum or something like that. I personally think that Bitcoin just might end up being the MySpace. I don't understand what the long-term utility, like what can I buy with it? Like not a Tesla, at least not right now. They might bring it back. I don't know, but it's like, yeah, there's actually stuff for me to buy with Ethereum, and that's why I'm excited. So those are that's basically all of my current thoughts on cryptocurrency. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it, guys. There's no questions right now, so we'll do Q&As at the end of the live streams later on.